Get your thinking caps on. This one's going to be kind of tough to wrap your head around. Net neutrality. It is the principle that internet service providers and governments should treat all data on the internet equally, not discriminating
or charging differentially by user, content, site, platform, application, type of attached equipment, and modes of communication. Sounds a little bit confusing.
Yep.
Don't worry, because joining us now is our tech expert, Nika Allen, to tell us all about net neutrality and how it affects you.
All right, so first, Nika, welcome. Good to see you again.
You. Hello.
Okay, what is net neutrality? We got sort of a breakdown, sort of official version of it, but what really is it in layman's terms?
Yeah. So it's basically the principle that all internet sites, whether it's your email, your Hulu, your Facebook, all come to you equally at the same speed without being treated differently by payment or anything like that.
Okay.
Okay, very cool. So there are two sides of net neutrality.
Yes.
Okay.
So currently there's a big debate going on, and the newly proposed rules that are potential is that your internet service provider actually has the ability to manage internet traffic in a commercially reasonable way, or basically how they decide. So if a company is using a significant amount of your bandwidth, so let's say Netflix, for example, they use a lot of bandwidth. They're a big company. You can see here, this is a graph of their use megabytes per second, and you can see in January it went down. So Netflix, and I suppose this was Comcast, an internet service provider, said, you guys, you're using a lot. So if you're gonna have everyone get your stuff at the same speeds, you're going to need to pay us more for that speed. And
so then Comcast turns around and they make Netflix pay more so that they can stream that 3 megabits per second to the consumer.
And so let's say as a consumer, I already pay my internet service provider, and I pay for 2 megabytes per second and it costs me $100. Well, that's what you already pay. So we pay once. But if this rule comes into effect, we might end up kind of paying twice because it's coming from both sides, coming from the content creators and the users.
Service provider, So for example, Netflix could up their cost. I mean, there was a big hubbub when it went from $7.99 to $8.99.
Yeah.
We're talking it could even go to $16 or something. I mean, it could potentially double Netflix's monthly subscription fee.
That.
So
probably not.
Yeah. So
there are some benefits. I mean, it's not like a total.
Let's talk
benefits. I don't want to say it could be completely one-sided here. It's a little scary. No one really likes higher costs. But again, think about it. If we have this, if this law passes or these are created, there can be kind of a slow lane and a fast lane, which sounds bad, but at the same time, maybe you want your Netflix at a faster speed, and you're willing to pay for that.
You don't want it to buffer every 5 minutes, or because you'll notice that, and especially at peak times when you're using the internet, your neighbors are using it. That's dragging the bandwidth down. So this could potentially boost that, so you don't have any buffering issues.
Exactly.
It just loads,
so this
the content's
could make
there.
certain websites on the internet go faster. But it really, I mean, the internet right now is basically a level playing field where anyone can participate. And so a startup can really, kind of compete with a big company because they have the same capabilities on the internet. But so this, if one was put on a slow lane and one was put on a fast lane, it might kind of prevent that from happening. And so that's a lot of the concern if net neutrality kind of goes away. Internet's kind of treated like a utility at this point, and if it starts being managed like that, it's not exactly a utility anymore. It's something else.
It could really hurt those small businesses and startup companies that are out there. Well, this is I think going to be a big debate. Is there any sort of timeline that we're looking at when this could potentially go into effect?
I'm not exactly sure, actually. It's been debated for quite a while now, actually. And we've seen people just actually last Friday were able to put all of their comments up on the FCC website, and so people are looking over them. There was like 1 million comments or so.
Really?
So people actually do care about this, and you might think, oh, this might not affect me, but
it could.
It really could.
It could.
So that's why I think
if
it's
you're streaming
important
online,
to know.
it could very well affect you, or if you're a small business, it could very well affect you. Well, I think this conversation is going to continue going.
Definitely.
And of course, we'll be checking in with you next week for all sorts of new tech tips. Nika, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And for